Today, our noble lineage will be presented in Hebrew and English with subtitles in English, Arabic, Aulaxese or Vietnamese, Chinese, French, German, Hebrew, Indonesian, Korean, Persian, Russian, Spanish, and Thai. מימי בראשית, המין האנושי היה מצווה על ידי האל להיות הנדיב ולהיות השליט הרחום על העולם ועל התושבים בו. הוא סיפק לנו בשפע את כל עשב זורע זרע אשר על פני כדור הארץ, ואת כל העץ אשר בו פרי עץ זורע זרע, לכם יהיה לאוכלה. להדריך אותנו בתפקידנו כילדיו האוהבים והמנהלים של כדור הארץ החי שלנו. אלוהים שלח מאסטרים מוארים רבים, קדושים ונביאים למטה אל הארץ במשך הזמנים, להזכיר לנו על המורשת האצילית שלנו. בזמן שהותם בעולם, ישויות מוארות הללו, האל קרישנה, מוחמד, ישוע הנוצרי, שקמוני בודה, לאו צו, יוגננדה ורבים אחרים, חולקים עמנו את דרך החיים הטובה והאצילית. עם אהבתם המופלאה וחמלתם, הם בבירור הרגישו והבינו שחיות הם יצורי האל היקרים, שיש עלינו לאהוב ולהגן עליהם. לכן, כל אחד מהם בבירור הורו לתלמידיהם שהדיאטה הצמחונית היא הדרך היחידה שמתאימה לאנושות, שהאל הורה כך מימי בראשית. בתוכנית זו, שושלת היוחסין האצילית שלנו, אנו נחקור את מוצא הדתות, קבוצות רוחניות של אנשים וקהילות שקיימות בעולם היום. ברכות רבות לכולכם, צופים רחומים, וברוכים הבאים לחלק 3 של האפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל, כפר של שלום, שושלת היוחסין האצילית שלנו. תנועת האפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל היא די מודרנית, אך עדיין עתיקת יומין עוד מהימים שלפני 70 לפני הספירה. האמונה אומרת שהכושים העבריים מבני ישראל הקדומים, כתוצאה מאי ציות לדיברות האלוהים, הוחזקו בשבי על ידי אומות כמו מצרים, אשור ובבל. שערי הכושים העבריים הוגלו מירושלים על ידי הרומאים ב-70 אחרי הספירה, לחלקים שונים של העולם, כולל אפריקה. בתקופה של מעל 1,000 שנים, רבים מהכושים העבריים מבני ישראל היגרו לארצות אחרות, ולבסוף הגיעו למערב אפריקה. עבודים ומנותקים מארץ הקודש, מעל 2,000 שנים, האפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל סוף סוף גילו מחדש את מורשתם. מסעם הנביאי, החזרה דרך ליבריה לישראל, הושלם לבסוף בשנת 1969. הגשמת הכמיהה הרוחנית של כל הילדים של ישראל, אשר נזרקו החוצה והתחננו לאל במשך כמעט 2,000 שנים, שיחזרו מחדש. לדברי בן עמי, מנהיגם הרוחני שביקר אותו, המלאך גבריאל, בהתגלות בשנת 1966. המלאך גבריאל אמר לו שהזמן הגיע, שהצאצאים מבני ישראל התנ"כיים שנמצאים בין האפריקאים האמריקאים, שעליהם לחזור לארץ המובטחת ולהקים את ממלכת האל.
We are what we would term a modern phenomenon, and of course this phenomenon is 40 years old, started in the city of Chicago actually, with a vision by our spiritual leader, Ben Ami. And of course, the story is that the angel Gabriel came to him in a vision and spoke to him, and it was literally 45 seconds, and this is his testimony. And the testimony was that he was told to leave America and go back to the promised land by the way of the wilderness. So 40 years ago it took place, and here we are today.
היום, האפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל משגשגים ומצליחים בממלכת יהובה שלהם, ודרכם בחיים הפכה ידועה בעולם כדרך הטובה למודל בריאות לעולם, ומהווים דוגמה לכפרי קהילות החיים דרך חיים בריאה, ואין להם את המחלות המודרניות של היום. כותרת נועזת במאמר ישראלי הצהירה שקהילת הכושים העבריים מבני ישראל היא בבריאות הטובה ביותר. המאמר אמר בנוסף, אין להם סרטן, אין להם התקפות לב, ובמדינות כמו אפריקה באים ללמוד מהם את סודם לחיים טובים. השמועה על בריאותם, הקהילה הנהדרת של הכושים העבריים מבני ישראל, נפוצה במהירות בכל העולם. משלחות זורמות לדימונה לחוות ולגלות את הסוד לחיים הבריאים שלהם. מהי הפילוסופיה שלהם והלימוד הרוחני? מהו מודל החיים שלהם? כיצד הם מצליחים כל כך בלחיות סגנון חיים שהוא אינו מושפע מהרבה מחלות שגרמות סבל רב וייסורים לשאר העולם? בואו נצטרף לכתבת שלנו של ערוץ סופרים מאסטר, דוקטור דיינה בליחרסקי, שהיא מדברת עם המורה הרוחני סר מלך בן ישראל מאפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל.
I was reading some of the quotes from your spiritual leader, Ben Ami, and he was relating the purpose of your group very beautifully. And I just want to say some of these quotes, that one of your purposes is to be a light unto humanity, demonstrating the benefits of living according to the Word of God. that you regard the true worship of God as a continuous process, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that the true worship of God is an entire way of life, a continuous action from the meal you eat in the morning to the job you work on. It encompasses your every deed and thought. And also the purpose was to establish an alternative, nurturing lifestyle that is in harmony with God and hence bring heaven to earth. So I understand that you live in a community and that the main community is in Israel and that you have other branches throughout the world, including here in Houston, Texas. And can you tell me about that community to do with your how you run the community, what sort of food you eat, what sort of music you play, this sort of thing?
Well, we have a peculiar way of dealing with life itself based on the traditional mode of thinking. First of all, we have an idea that we are planting in the earth again, that you can live, you can enjoy yourself, and you can please your Maker. And we've made that a part of a community lifestyle. And of course, as we know, the first diet that was given to man, of course, was a vegetarian diet. I mean, he was going to be vegetarian. It's Genesis 1:29. I mean, that's in the first part of the book that we know,
yes,
that we use.
Yes.
And of course, the community has discovered over 40 years, going back to a healthier lifestyle, living and loving again, and appreciating the human family again, that we've been able to do some things as far as relieve the stress, relieve the strain on one's lifestyle, and live in simplicity. Glamorously live now, because you know we like beautiful clothes, we like beautiful children adorned in beautiful clothes, and of course we don't believe that there is any such thing as an elder age-wise, because you know you can be young at 90 or 100 years old. So
yes,
again,
yes,
now we've just begun to transpose some of the language that's been used in modern day societies. And so we're going back to the book, and we're saying that if this was a plan where a man lived 969 years by the name of Methuselah, certainly we need to get closer to getting some of that 969 years back. So it's just simply going back to basics and seeing how we can, over this 40 years, look back and say we've made some progress over 40 years and getting some of that 969 back.
And you follow a vegan diet, yes? A vegan.
We follow a strict vegan diet,
yes,
no animal products, which means that there are no eggs, there is no butter, which of course is a byproduct of milk, and there is no flesh of any kind. So basically we are total vegan.
Right. I think you also recommend exercise, no smoking, no alcohol, massage,
well,
sunshine, pure water.
We say you need to pamper yourself. You know, you need to take care of yourself
yes,
first,
yes,
before you can help or assist someone else.
Yes.
So we have what's called mandatory days where you get exercise at least 3 days a week. You work up a sweat at least 3 days a week. You know,
right,
here, of course, in the Americas, we've got gyms and spas and all of that. We say if you get out on the trail, get out in some fresh air, you know, do you some exercises,
right,
that would certainly help the metabolism of your body.
yes,
And certainly you would be more heart healthy, more organ healthy if you were willing to do that, because of course you would be excreting toxins and that kind of thing. We've got toxic air now. What can we say? We've got toxic air, we've got toxic water, we've got all of this toxic material around us. So certainly to get that out of your system, and water is a good medicine. I mean, one of our daily duties is the first thing that you do in the morning when you get up, you begin to drink some water. You know, and you drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. You help flush, because through the night your body is going through a process of elimination. So that first drink of water in the morning is really important to help your body say, I'm going to get rid of this stuff I've been processing. So that's part of our ritual lifestyle.
right. And I know that you mentioned in Genesis how God said that the grains in the field and the fruit on the trees that look good and smell good, this will be our food, and that the animals, later on it says the animals will be our friends to rule over. And so very beautiful, very beautiful. How do you support the vegan diet? Do you do your own farming, or do you purchase from shops, or how do you have the produce, the vegetables, etc.?
Well, we have a combination of things. We do buy some vegetables and fruits from shops and growers. We try to make sure that we can zero in on those that are using organic methods. And we have a ministry of agriculture because, of course, we consider ourselves a nation and departmentalized with the Ministry of Information, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Economics. So we have ministers in each of these areas that are from the midst of the people that caretake those particular custodial duty stations. So we have a ministry of agriculture that also works actively in the producing of fruits and vegetables for us also. So we're trying to do even more as we continue to grow as a community to be self-sufficient and provide most of those things that we need. And by the way, we know that there are seedless grapes. We love grapes. We know that there are seedless grapes, there are seedless oranges, but back to the Genesis, those things with seeds in them, a seedless fruit is not that original fruit that would, of course, give you that nutrient and nurturing fact for your body. So we try to avoid those kind of things.
I wanna keep my chicken livers, wanna keep my chicken wings. You can have my chicken fingers, cause there isn't such a thing. A chicken pox on you for wanting to eat my chicken thighs. You should try picking on somebody your own size. Cause we don't want to be battered, we don't want to be skinned. We like the chicken feathers that we're in. So go ahead and lick your fingers, just keep them off our chicken skin.
Very good, very good. And I understand that you also have a tofu factory and a carob candy factory. Is that right?
The factory certainly is there in Israel and very popular. We have some of the products all across the country, and of course, they realize and know from our record that we are all vegan. So it's quite popular, especially in the community, because it's totally all natural.
And coming back to health again and the vegan diet, for 40 years your community has been living with a vegan diet, and I understand now that you're known as a living laboratory and people are studying you as to your health in particular. And I'm actually referring to a study that was done by the university, doctors from university hospitals in Nashville, Tennessee. And they came and studied your community, and they discovered that you had a dramatic reduction in hypertension and obesity and illnesses related to those things, and really quite dramatic statistics, considering that you are African American, now live in Israel, and the same genetic background, but a dramatic reduction in disease, which points rather directly to the vegan diet. And I think the statistics were something like hypertension 6% in your community in Israel, and around 30-32% here in America for hypertension amongst African Americans. And the obesity rates was 5% in your community in Israel, compared to 50% women here in America, and I think about 38% men. So this is quite dramatic, how your diet and lifestyle has influenced your health. And I understand that people are still studying you, and that in actual fact they're now coming to you as a living life model to maybe introduce that into their own nations, particularly in Africa. Would you like to comment on that?
I think that it's exciting to understand that there is a people that have been in the laboratory for 40 years talking about the bettering of health and life itself. Again, the excitement for me is I'm from a family of 9 children, and I'm 5 from the top and 5 from the bottom. I'm the 5th child. And all of my other siblings are either diabetic or have died from stroke or heart attack or something like that. I just made in Israel my 64th creation day. We say birthday sometime, but we're elevating language too. So I just made my 64th, no diabetes, no hypertension, no heart attack, no stroke, and I'm ready to go. So again, I'm grateful for the lifestyle change, because again, all of these factors that you've just mentioned are certainly a phenomenon to the medical world, because my DNA says I'm supposed to have some of those things, and siblings above me and below me attest to the fact that that's in a gene pool. And so again, I like to use phenomenon. I'm a phenomenon in my family, but then the community has also this same kind of behavior as a at-large community. So again, when you apply those factors over a certain period of time, then certainly tallying the evidence will speak for itself.
Yes, exactly. I think the statistics were quite amazing. I think something like in 40 years, only 2 cases of cancer, 1 stroke, no heart attacks, no HIV/AIDS, and I do understand that a lot of African nations are coming to visit and see exactly what you're doing and trying to implement in their own countries.
זו סטטיסטיקה מאוד מרשימה לקהילה יחידה, וכדי לחלוק את המידע שלהם והידע הנרכש שלהם עם אוכל צמחוני, האפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל פרסמו ספר בישול ופתחו מסעדות צמחוניות.
Again, referring to quotes from your spiritual leader, Ben Amy, the spiritual basis for the vegetarian diet, the vegan diet, another reason that he quoted was to keep pure the temple of God in order to receive the Spirit of the living God to guide and direct one's actions, knowing that from the quote from the Bible, know you not that you are the temple of God and the Holy Spirit dwells within you. And another common phrase that we use is "you are what you eat." And Ben Amy put it this way, saying, "I must remind you that your blood tissues and all of your organs are made of what you eat." So we have plenty of evidence in all the great spiritual literature of the world that we are designed to be vegetarian, and it's wonderful to see your community and all the wonderful benefits that are coming out of that. Now, I understand you also have a chain of vegetarian restaurants, and you've also got a vegetarian cookbook. Could you comment on that, about the vegetarian cookbook?
Well, I think that as we continue to elevate, we have several vegetarian food preparation books. One is Cooked, and the other is called The Joy of Living Live. Of course, over 40 years, you find out, being in a laboratory, that there are some things, and then there are some better things, and then there are some even better things. And so we have out a juicing book, one book that also deals with uncooked food, because now we know that when you cook food, certainly it takes some of the enzymes out of the food, even if it's vegetarian. So now we use a combination of thought processing. We know that juicing is good. We know that eating live foods is the ultimate, and we also have that succulent vegetarian cooked food that we use. So naturally, all of these things literally drove us to going into the commercial area with those things that we knew to do. So Soul Vegetarian came up out of the concept of helping the human family. Many say, well, I'd like to be vegetarian, but I don't know what to cook. I don't know how to cook. So we opened restaurants so you could go taste and see that it just wasn't bland and something that, you wouldn't really appreciate based on your palate's desire to have something sumptuous to munch on. So in our vegetarian restaurants, and we have them in various places in Israel and of course across the United States, you have a chance to go in and get the best of two worlds. First, you would be eating something that won't harm you, that's going to be in harmony with your body. And then second, you'll get a chance to eat some things like glida, which is what we would traditionally call ice cream, and ugia, which is cake. So you could have your cake and eat it too. So I think that the opportunity then to just take this message rather than being spiritual is also natural and what we would call divine, because we are looking to address whatever constituency, whatever side of town they're on, that we have a better way to eat. And we also have been participating for the last few years in the Green Fest, which is a totally all-nature group. And so they have asserted us to the point that they say, if we do something, you all got to be there with your food. So it's just that good. And trust me, we've got some samplings after we finish. And so it's just that good.
בבקשה הצטרפו אלינו שוב, שבוע הבא, לרעיון מרתק עם המורה הרוחני סר מלך בן ישראל, באורח חיים טבעוני של האפריקאים העבריים מבני ישראל, והנושא של התחממות עולמית. אנו מודים לכם על חברתכם המרגיעה בתוכנית זו של שושלת היוחסין האצילית שלנו, בערוץ הטלוויזיה סופרים מאסטר. וכעת, בבקשה, הישארו קשובים לבין מאסטר לתלמידים. משודר מיד. מי ייתן ורוחכם תזרח בבהירות עם חוכמה, אהבה וברכות מאלוהים. Please join us again next week for this fascinating interview with Pastor Sir Melech Ben Israel on the vegan lifestyle of the African Hebrew Israelites and the issue of global warming. We thank you for your gentle company on this episode of our noble lineage on Supreme Master Television. And now, please stay tuned for Between Master and Disciples. Coming up next, may your spirit glow brightly with wisdom, love, and blessing from God.